electronic cigarette was invented in China, and since then the use of e-cigarettes, also called vaping, has grown exponentially around the world.
One-year-old Megan Eagle was hospitalized after becoming suddenly ill.
It is a parent's worst nightmare.
Health officials confirmed she died from a vaping-related illness.
So I started smoking e-cigarettes or Twist Brother. That was the first brand that I started using in 2013. I remember first time I went out to go get it, I think it was because I wanted to stop smoking cigarettes. So that's why I started playing around with it. And the first time I smoked it, it actually felt stronger than a normal cigarette. And then over the course of time I started using it, but then started noticing, although it wasn't like smoking a cigarette, but it was a bit harsh compared to a cigarette. Yeah.
My first time having an e-cigarette, I think it was back in 2014. I was introduced by a friend because of like most of the time we were having a Hubley. So I saw him, he bought that e-cigarette, so I just wanted to taste, and then like that's when I started smoking e-cigarette.
I started smoking, interesting story, I was working in my matric year at a store, and I took smoke. Everyone else there, all my colleagues, including my manager, smoked, and they took like 15-minute breaks every chance they could. So I decided as well to join, and the only way I could get like a 15-minute break or whatever was from having a cigarette. So that's how the habit started.
The first time I saw it being advertised was actually in the malls, because they would have a stand in the middle of the mall, and they were marketing it as like a greener way to smoke or an easier way to stop smoking.
You know, the tobacco industry is a little bit schizophrenic, if you think about it, because I've noticed that some of the advertising by Philip Morris is basically looking to the future, being electronic products. And so they are saying in a lot of articles that I've read, they're saying, we recognize that tobacco smoking is unhealthy, and therefore that's why the future lies with electronic cigarettes. Now, how can they say that on the one hand, and then on the other hand say people have the right to choose?
The thing that I love about e-cigarette, it's like, even if I can get stressed now, and then I reach for my e-cigarette and I smoke, it makes me relax. It makes me feel comfortable, it makes me relax. I'm calm when I'm smoking it. And also the flavors, it makes my mouth like, to feel like some mango, lychee, depends what flavor I'm smoking. So it's quite relaxing.
What I loved about it was definitely the taste, the smell, and the fact that compared to a normal cigarette, like it didn't smell as much. Also the sensation of giving out large amounts of smoke, like that was appealing to me.
So the World Health Organization has recommended that e-cigarettes be regulated in the same way as ordinary cigarettes. So no sales to children, no smoking in public places, no vaping in public places, no advertising of vaping products. So in that sense, South Africa is absolutely right. As far as the e-cigarettes and the tobacco industry are concerned, let's just remind ourselves that 94% of Philip Morris, the world's largest tobacco company, comes from the sale of cigarettes.
How did electronic cigarettes become the biggest thing on the streets?
E-cigarettes are a very small part of its market. But the tobacco companies are pushing e-cigarettes in markets where cigarette smoking is declining. So what they're trying to say to people is, you don't have to quit smoking, just switch to vaping. And in countries where people are not smoking, which is the rest of the world, most of the developed countries, in Africa they're only selling e-cigarettes in 2 markets. In South Africa, and I believe more recently in East Africa. But the rest of Africa, they're not selling it. Why? Because their future still lies in addicting young people to cigarettes. So this is about money for them. It's not about selling a less harmful product. It's about money for them. And as South Africans, as I said, we had incredible success with our initial tobacco control laws. Progress has stalled. But now, if the new legislation goes through, we can have enormous reductions in tobacco use, in deaths from tobacco, without pushing people into other nicotine delivery systems.
You see, this bill, now it's taking issues a bit further so that it becomes more comprehensive, so that we close all the loopholes that have been exploited by the industry, but so we comply fully with the prescripts of the FCTC. Remember, we are a states party, and so it would be important for us. We've got obligations, so it would be important for us, but more importantly, to protect the health of the nation. Remember, we are in Africa, we're still battling with so many things. Money, savings that would be made there, they'll be utilized for education, for health, for infrastructure, and for so many other things. A lot of other challenges are coming up.
Although it's like a newer form of smoking and hasn't been researched as much as your normal tobacco smoking or normal smoking, there are effects. I mean, if you consider how it makes you feel when you're smoking it, then obviously there should be, like, effects that should be probably researched and therefore be able to be regulated. Because, I mean, at this point, it's just the fact that there hasn't been much research done into it that might lead people into thinking that now the effects aren't there, but I definitely think there are effects.
I believe that this law, or this bill that is currently in the process of being made into a law, is something that South Africa is supposed to have done a long time ago, but it's never too late. And so I believe that this is an opportunity for South Africa to get back on track in terms of leading tobacco control in Africa and protecting the lives of South Africans most importantly.
We have very good regulation in this country where you have designated smoking areas. How do you ban that outright? You have 7.5 to 8 million adult smokers in this country. They have the right to use the product. It's not only non-smokers who have rights. Smokers have rights too.
With the control, I feel like there is going to be an element where people's just autonomy will be taken away from just engaging in things that they should be able to engage in, so long as that they're not illegal. And tobacco is not illegal. It's just obviously the effects and implications it has that is quite a concern.
When people speak about the right to smoke, yes, you have the right to smoke, but I have the right to breathe in fresh air. Yes, you have the right to do what you want to do, but when that right begins to harm your neighbor, when that right begins to harm your family members, then that right has to be curtailed.
I don't think I'll be able to stop, especially now I haven't seen any complications that I have with vaping. If I did, maybe I saw someone, a friend of mine, maybe getting sick because of vaping and everything, maybe I was going to be a little bit afraid to smoke. But for now, I'm still comfortable, so I don't think I'll stop.
Actually, you would like to give up because there's nothing cute about smoking. In all honesty, I think people need to find better mechanisms, better coping mechanisms, and I mean, really, that is the ultimate goal. So I would like to quit smoking, although I do enjoy it as a social activity. So there's that to take into place. But yeah, I mean, I guess the bigger picture is just eradicating smoking in my life.